Hey, hello, this is Mike Lanier from carshownationals.com. Let's roll, and we got some special guests on here. Jeff Thisted's my new co-host. I got Mike Cotten and Dave Newbern, all from Faster with Finnegan. Well, not Jeff. He's my co-host, though. And let's talk to the guys, get to know them. Yeah.
Wait, first of all, what?
Huh?
Jeff.
We got Cotten and Newbern from Faster with Finnegan. It's the new hit show on the MotorTrend app that has been breaking all records and breaking all parts. Before we get into the show, I've been seeing all over the social media. You got to think for Ram trucks and breaking them. What's going on?
Dude, so Finnegan sent me a link to a new truck that I didn't even know he was looking for. He was like, "Hey, call this guy and see if it's still available." So I called him, and it was, and we set up to go fly up to Iowa and pick this thing up and drive it home. But it didn't.
Now, why? Because first of all, you had the roadkill Ram truck, and then the Square Force One that we got that I played with you guys on the Power Tour last year. And why the new one?
Oh,
I don't know.
He's got a huge idea. Well, we're not going to talk about it. But like the white ramp truck, the reason why it's on the road because Dave took it to the body shop. So
yeah, the Square Force One, right?
Huh?
Well, OG
that one's Square Force One, the white one, white and red one.
Square Force One's just sitting in the garage in the shop, but the OG ramp truck, the one that had roadkill on the side.
Yeah, okay.
They took it to the body shop, and then that was Dave's daily, and they took it to the body shop, and that's getting fixed now.
And that's the one you guys put the Dodge, the diesel in that'll do burnouts forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave burnout.
Yeah. I miss that truck badly.
So what's the prognosis on that thing?
It'll probably be another, I'd say 3 months, and then it'll hopefully be out of the body shop. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so it's gonna be done.
Yeah, I hope so.
Where'd you have to go in Iowa? I actually lived down in Iowa for about 12 years. Where did you have to go?
Gilman.
I'm not sure where that is. You were probably close. I'm in Minnesota. I was in Iowa. Oh, okay.
And for those who are watching who don't know what this thing is, tell them about this new Ram truck that you guys just got.
It's a 1998 F800. It's got 6 doors. It's like an old square body style F-150, but it's commercial looking. It's huge. It's got semi-truck wheels and tires on it. It rides like hell, but it's got a 12-valve Cummins in it.
Yeah, and it's the 6-passenger. Is that a custom thing? Or they didn't make them like that from the factory?
Oh, yeah, it's totally custom, and the bench seats are so wide in it, you could fit 12 people in it.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. Because I saw online.
It depends on the 12, because we had this discussion, and Mike was like, we had 4 skinny guys, and I'm like, wait, that kicks us out because we ain't skinny.
That's true.
So where would we? And then it would be like I would say it would be like 3.5 on each bench would fit. But you can literally lay down, like we all have beds now. We each got a bed to sleep in. That's right.
So now if they're like you, Cod, then it only fits 6. But if it's like a Finnegan, it'll fit 12 easily.
Right.
Is that accurate?
Yep.
Yeah, don't start nothing that's really important. Don't. Too
Well,
early.
I talked to you the other morning on the phone, and then all of a sudden I saw on social media that you're there with these guys helping them with this head gas. It's like, what?
So here's what happened. Them two are sneaky. They're 24 hours sneaky, right? So the Square Force, before they went and picked up Square Force, they give me this whole spill like, Cotten, you're going to love what we're getting. It's going to be this. It's a surprise. So I said, okay, whatever. Well, they kind of pulled the same thing. Mike last week calls me and he's like, hey, are you going to be home Valentine's Day? And I'm like, why? Like, sure. Why is Mike asking me this? So I was like, I don't need no mail order bride or anything. Like, what are you trying to pull? And then he's like, well, there's something coming for you. And I said, okay, got it. So I'm sitting there. And then Valentine's Day comes and I want to get out of my shop. I don't want to keep staying in there. And I called him like at 7 o'clock and he's like, oh, dude, let me check. This goes into the story here in a minute. So then,
all this is recorded. I've got all this recorded on my phone, by the way. He doesn't know that.
So then I'm sitting there and I hang up the phone. Well, he hangs up on me and then he calls me back and says it's being delayed. So I'm having this conversation with him, but he's laughing, so he hangs up on me. So immediately I call Dave. Well, Dave has this conversation with me and he hangs up on me. And I'm like, man, I ain't digging this. So the next morning, Mike tells me to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's ridiculous on a Saturday. So I show up on a Saturday, sitting there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's nothing. Then he goes, hey, I just want to let you know your gift's delayed. I'm like, okay, how much longer? And he goes, well, your gift is us. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, we were going to come see you, which was awesome. But then the next thing that comes out of his mouth is, but. And I'm like, but what? We're broke down. So they end up being broke down like 3 hours away. And I'm like, what's happening? And now we're all three scrambling, trying to find parts. We're trying to find head gaskets and everything like that. We got the head gasket, and then I drove up 3 hours, and I saw my best friends, and they tried to surprise me with a truck again, and it didn't work because every time they try to surprise me, it goes bad. Bad.
But going bad, it goes. But going bad it means it's going good. And what did you drive up in, the HHR?
Dude, don't be hating on it. That is the most.
No, I love the HHR.
You have an FSM garage. Like people always dog on that. Dave don't have nothing dependable. His stuff is either clackety, rockety, binging and banging.
32 miles per gallon. That's you had me at 32 miles per gallon.
Oh yeah.
And what does the Ram truck get?
Huh?
8.
What kind of mileage does a Ram truck get?
I was gonna say 8.
8.
8 miles per gallon versus 32.
And it's good. But it was good.
So
it was neat to go. It's big. It's freaking big. Like people don't understand. It's big. And then Finnegan has, I don't know. He might have that roadkill curse, right, that everybody talks about. But he's the only person in my lifetime that breaks down in the most convenient, luckiest, TV-looking scripted places ever. Ever. If his stuff breaks, it's not like if Dave and I would break, we would be stuck in the middle of a cornfield. We wouldn't understand how we got in the cornfield, but we would be stuck in the middle of the cornfield.
All right, so look.
Mike breaks. Go, tell him.
All right, so we break down in a fireworks parking lot, a fireworks store parking lot, and we're on the phone with AAA. He tries to call AAA to come get this thing, and they basically laugh at him. And so we sit there for 2 hours waiting for a tow truck, and it's 8 degrees outside. Okay. We're basically freezing to death in the front of this truck. Finally, this other tow truck comes. He can't haul it, but he gives us a ride to a hotel. So the next morning, Robert's Towing comes and picks us up. He was like, you guys I don't have time to work on it, but you're welcome to use my shop. I'll just take you back to my house. We'll put it in there and you guys can work on it. You know,
so that's the shop you guys got to use.
Right.
What a nice guy.
He didn't tell us he was the owner, and he didn't tell us that we were going to this 20,000 square foot shop that only works on big rigs. We assumed it was going to be this little barn next to his house, dirt floor, no heat. We didn't care as long as we were inside. We were going to fix it anyway. But we show up to this place. I'm like, whoa. I was like, do you own this place? He's like, yeah, I got 2 of them. I'm like, what? Yeah. So he pulls us in this bay. This is the cleanest shop I've ever been in. This guy, we walk in, this guy's on a machine polishing the floor. And there's every tool you could think of in this place. I mean, it's
except for Cotten.
Exactly, except for Cotten. But he shows up later. So the tool set's complete. So
I don't.
But yeah, we couldn't.
What are you gonna do with these trucks? Just pick up people like me, just different states, or what? Just gonna drive around.
So the new one we just bought, we're going to take the bed off and sell it. We're going to extend the chassis and we're going to build an enclosed box for it, and it's going to be like a bigger, better version of Square Force 1.
Okay.
Okay.
'Cause I know when you guys took Square Force 1 to Pomona, and it didn't do so well, right?
Oh, it did fine.
It did okay.
Fine. We clogged a fuel filter out there in Gallup, New Mexico, somewhere. I don't know where we were at, but we clogged the fuel filter. And then, other than that, the thing was fine. It got 5 miles to the gallon, but that was a very expensive fuel bill.
Though it likes that thing for some reason likes 80 mile an hour. Like it's the weirdest thing. It's like a big Suburban, so you're running down the road and it likes 80. You go 65, it's like you're driving Miss Daisy in it. But if you go 80, it loves it. So that's why we get 5 miles to the gallon. But we did. The coolest part is we were coming in with it, and we're going up a hill, and you can literally watch the gas gauge move.
Oh, that's nuts.
He's not kidding. You can literally watch the gas gauge move when you're climbing a hill. It's bad. I have a video.
Nuts. Well, congratulations on the new show, and how did it come to fruition? Explain. I know you guys been friends with Finn for years and years. Been doing the YouTube thing with him. Was there a big audition process, a big casting couch? What happened? Tell us about it.
A casting couch? You talking to the wrong
I don't know these things.
It was literally nothing. We got phone calls and said you guys are coming. Am I right, Dave? I mean, it was about it.
So Cotten and I got thrown in there kind of at the last minute, and
right.
They came to Finnegan with this idea for a new show. He told me about it, and they were looking for a co-host. And they went through a handful of co-hosts. They auditioned them. They flew them out there, and tried them out. And at the end of the day, when it was time to film the first week, he didn't have a co-host, and so Cotten and I were there. He was like, just go ahead and they can help me wrench on it, and we can just go ahead and get this first show done. And so it started there, and then after that, they just for some reason kept us and finished out the whole season. I don't know why.
Very nice.
Our things are mechanics. We're not hosts. We're mechanics, is what they call us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're friends. It comes across on the
Right.
episode. You guys are friends, and it's Newbern. The last episode at the dirt track, you came alive. It was my favorite episode so far, and you finally. It's like I think you said more in that episode than the previous than all the previous ones combined.
Well, I was very unexpected, to show up there. NASCAR's there. We're at a dirt track. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be awesome. Who are you gonna be racing? And then we figure out it's gonna be one of us, and I'm like, no way. So the suit that they had, because this was all, a surprise. They had this damn suit. It was a medium, okay? And, I'm not a medium guy. So I have to fit in the suit. I can't even bend my arms or nothing. I can barely get in the car. The suit is so tight. So when I'm in NASCAR, it's hard for me to shift gears and turn and everything because the suit is way too small. But I didn't care. I let it rip, and that was the time of my life. I didn't want to get out of the car.
That's when they sent you to Walmart.
No, yeah. It was funny because when we got there, usually we have a host, right? And they hide the host, so you don't see them. So we're sitting there waiting, and we're sitting in this thing across the way, and we don't really know what car's underneath that tarp. And we don't know anything. You just see 4 vehicles over there, and they try to disguise it by putting boxes so you don't have a clue. And we walk over there, and it's funny because we're dumb. So we read the instructions 3 times, literally and I kind of stood there. I was like, rock, paper, scissors.
The director had to basically tell us how to do it.
Stuff. And then so we're kind of sitting there, and also we're like, wait a second, rock, paper, scissors. And Dustin, our showrunner's like, yeah, guys, rock, paper, scissors. For what? For see who runs. So when you see it, we're both looking at each other bet. And every time we do stuff, people kind of think we're scripted. No, we literally went rock, paper, scissors, and he won. But we made a bet. Whoever won drove. Whoever lost rode. Okay, so they don't want us getting in suits. Well, I'm a little bit bigger than Dave. Dave's a little bit more slevish than me. Okay, I get it. So I had to wear his suit, and they had a suit, and then he got in the medium suit, and I was in his suit. So it was hard for us basically to move in general. But we got wedged in. There's a time, if you watch the video, you can see our heads were the only thing that was moving. We wouldn't move our body. We would just sit there this is ridiculous, dude. You good? We're trying to fist bump, and we're about ripping sleeves and stuff, looking like Hulk Hogan and stuff. But it was fun. I don't do that kind of racing, right? I'm very much out of my element. And Dave and Mike are very competitive. It's stupid.
All right, hey, tell everybody right now that within that 5 laps, I had a faster time, and he had to run 8 laps to beat it.
He did have a faster lap because I got out and they said the time. I was like, no, because I went by it and saw it, and I said no, he ran faster. Nope. I'm like, whatever. It was fun. The bad part is you're supposed to, if you're a badass, you run 14s. We didn't, right? So we sucked. But it was neat to see Dave would get in his groove until he would try to get a little cocky and then get out of the groove and then freak me out. Because that wall, I don't care what anyone says, when you're drifting, that wall looks like it's coming a million mile at you. And I have no concept of that wall hitting me. So I'm going to be slow down. Don't do this. And when the hood came up, there was a slot. What you don't see is the hood flies up and I freak out. I'm like, stop! And he wouldn't stop. Then he's driving through the slot.
I laughed out loud. If I was drinking something at that point, it would have come through my nose. I saw the hood come up and laughed out loud, and I don't usually that's good stuff, man.
Stop. And I'm like in there screaming, like, stop! Like, are you crazy? He's like, ah, no. And he's like leaned over, driving like this. And all of a sudden I go, and we're both like looking through this little peephole as he's driving. I'm like, this is crazy, dude. And he's like, oh, I'm okay. I'm like, no, you're going to kill me. Why are you going to kill me?
I thought,
what's up with the curse of NASCAR, though? You guys put it in. It's always going into the wall or into a tire or something.
Hey, hold on. Don't blame that on us.
I'm not blaming. I'm blaming it on NASCAR, not on you. It's the car.
No, it's not the car. It's the roadkill curse. Freiberger was roadkill, and he did that. And who else would roadkill? Flanagan. So Flanagan and him put it in the wall. Dave and I didn't, did we?
Nah.
No. You made it beautiful.
I stayed away from the wall.
That front end looks good now.
Dude,
people are hating on it. Like, there's a lot of hate on it, but I mean, they're like,
no.
I like the old front end better. I was like, it didn't have a front end before. Like, it was missing the front end. It had one headlight. What do you mean you like the old front end? Like, it wasn't there. Like, I don't know, whatever. But there's a lot of people that love it. There's a few haters, but I mean, whatever.
So speaking of which, tell me about the haters. What have you guys been seeing on the social media stuff? The haters, because haters hate. One thing that I admired, I saw that Cletus McFarland with the Freedom Factory thing, and he even gave a shout out to all the haters. So have you guys been experiencing any of that?
Yeah.
Not really.
About haters. He won't, I will. Like, haters
really
make the world go around. That's the thing about it, is haters will make the world go around. So you're more relevant in a hater's view than that, because they want to make you look worse and worse and worse. Like when we did the Blazer episode, again, it's genuine. Like, people have to understand that my reactions, Dave's reactions, and Mike's reactions are genuine. We're three best friends. But when we got in the Blazer episode, yeah, I was screaming. Like, I lost my voice from laughing and screaming for 2.5 hours. Now, Dave will tell you that is the most sketchiest vehicle on the planet. Am I right, Dave? Dave.
Yeah, the Blazer is amazing. I gotta turn I gotta turn my hotspot on because my internet sucks. Hold on.
But the Blazer's really sketchy. So when we do these episodes, we kind of go into it cold, right? So the vehicle shows up. Mike's only driving as he drives it like maybe 2 minutes before each thing, like kind of doing it. And when we went there, Dave's throwing stuff like it can tip over. You might want to just ride the course out, right? And Mike's like, yeah, because he has no fear. And then he's going to come back here in a minute. And then we're sitting there, and I'm told I got to ride with him. Again, Mike has no fear. So we get in, and I'm like trying to be the smart guy, like, dude, let's just run around the course and let's literally see it. And he doesn't. So he goes at it, and people are like, why are you screaming? You get in a 4x4 truck that is sketchy as can be and let Mike Finnegan drive it. Like, you like, oh, it's great, until he starts going crazy and it feels like it's going to flip. You're going to scream, right? And it was just, you get people that are across the internet that, for everybody, we have so many people that love us, and we appreciate them more than anything in the world. Like, Dave and I talk about that. Like, it's hard for us to believe that we're in the situation that we are. Like, I can't believe that people actually want autographs from me, right? I just don't get it. But
it is weird. Very weird.
Yeah, you get the people that hate us, and they're like, well, you guys are scripted, or you got this. And I'm like, you really don't know the show if you're watching it. But in all reality, even though you're mad at us, I can't say you're watching us, because you're still doing us a gig. So keep hating. I love it. Like, do what you got to do.
So
there's very few haters. There's very few haters.
You guys have been known from Finnegan's Garage, the YouTube channel, for a few years now, but how has it gone from being known a little bit to exponentially? I mean, this is MotorTrend On Demand. It's the full-on. I mean, you guys are going to be on the TV channel here pretty soon.
You know what? It doesn't. To me, it hasn't hit us yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with Dave, right? Like, people don't get. Take your two best friends and go work on a car together. It doesn't matter where you're at. That's just the feeling, right? I mean, you're having a great time. So when we're all together, we're still going to be who we are. It doesn't, like, there's times that Dave and I don't realize what's going on when somebody's staring at us, right? Like, do I got a booger in my nose? What do we have going on? We don't have a clue until
people will literally like walk up and like they'll hold their phone up like and not even like look at us. They'll be standing to the side of us like taking a picture. I'm like, this is weird. Like, what are they doing? Like, why don't they just come talk to us? Like, this is it's just like me and him will be at the track and like we'll be like, we're actually getting paid to like hang out at this track and race cars. I was like, this is just it's it's unreal to us. It's very weird. So very blessed.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I remember hanging out with you guys working at SEMA, and all of a sudden I looked over the camera operator, and there you guys are, your arms crossed, giving me the pose, and yes, you're regular guys hanging out, and you can kind of blend in for now, but then all of a sudden you get noticed. It's like, hey, can we get a selfie?
Yeah.
I'm down. I don't like. I'll talk to everybody. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
We talk about it
So
all
are
the
they-
time. Like, go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mike.
so your next show or your last show of the season is tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So they're gonna do reruns on MotorTrend then of the show or not? You don't
Man,
know.
sometimes
I don't know
chicken
anything.
enchilada have beef in it. You just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
What
yeah,
when do
of
you guys
course I
start
don't
taping
have
for
the app.
season 2?
Huh?
When do you start taping for season 2?
They'll probably
They
they'll
don't
probably
know.
tell us 3 days beforehand.
Yeah, they'll probably yeah, he's right. Like, I got a funny feeling that it's going to be okay. We're ready. Let's go. And then when we filmed, it was hard because like in a month we'd film for 3 weeks in a month. That's why we could pound them shows out. But they're home. I'm not. So I'm only home 7 to 9 days out of a month when we're doing it. But it's whoever thinks that this is the easiest job is far from the reality. It's not even close. It's 12, 13-hour hard days. Like always, if we're building, people don't realize film building's different. So like you're building and you're getting your hours in, but then you got to stop doing. So visualize you in your garage and you're working hard on a thing and some guy just walks up and goes, stop. Can you redo that? And you're like, great. So you got to take it all back apart and redo it again until they're happy with what they see. I'm beyond our crew. We're blessed. Like we had a great director, great producers, great showrunner, great camera. There's not one person on our crew that I would ever talk bad about because they were awesome. So they made it easier on us, and they realized that it was easier to just leave cameras on us and let us do us, and then they could get it. Otherwise, the normal platform when they're filming is cameras are focusing one way, and then they're taking pictures of it, and they're doing it, and they stop you. Like they just got to a point, everybody had their own camera.
You'll notice on the first episode where they would try and like do like little segments here and there, but like we would do so much stuff in between that they would miss that like literally, but by episode 6, the cameras are going all the time and they're just catching everything that we're doing, and there's now it went from 2 cameras to 3 cameras, and they're just going all the time trying to catch because we're constantly like joking around and like picking at each other and doing dumb stuff.
That's what I was saying earlier.
So
it translates that you guys. It translates through the screen. I know you, but it translates that you guys are friends.
Right.
And people who are telling you that, is there a script on the show? They obviously don't work in entertainment. I've worked in TV for a few years, and you can tell there's no script. And my favorite parts are when someone's talking about whatever it is you're doing on the vehicle, and the other person walks by and, wait, what did you just say? With some sort of the reactions. It really translates how you guys are close friends.
My face has no filter. Like the faces you see are exactly what it's always been. Am I right, Dave? Like you know me.
Oh
Dave.
yeah.
Like I don't need to look like that, but like like that inner feeling that you had that you should not look like that. I lost that when I was a kid, so it just comes out like it's supposed to.
And people think Cotten was like kind of like putting on and like faking the whole Blazer thing, but y'all don't understand what it took for me to get Cotten in that Blazer. Like that was my whole point. I was like, I'm gonna get Cotten in that Blazer and I'm gonna make him get filthy and it's gonna be great. Like he didn't even want to get out of the car to get in the mud to get in the Blazer. But once I got him in there, he didn't want to get out. It was great.
That was my favorite episode. You finally came out of your shell, David. It was a great episode. Tell me about. I saw it at SEMA years ago, and I've seen it on the internet for years and years. 711 cubic inch Sonny Leonard engine. I want a water ski behind this thing. When is it going to live? Game over. The boat. When is it going to live?
The end of this week.
No, come on, seriously?
Yeah, like we were wiring that boat before we got on the plane to go into Iowa, and it's very close. And it's another 6 hours of wiring, and we're ready to hit the keel on that thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
We got to see the video. We got to see.
Yes,
the
please.
video.
Yeah. And let me know when he brings it out to Lake Elsinore, because I'll take a water ski pass behind it.
Yeah,
No, you
trust me, I'll be there. I'll be there on the bank. I'll film it from the bank. I'm not riding in it.
Okay.
No, I'll be in the truck. I'll be in the truck ready to back the truck in to get it because it'll be broke.
There you go.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no.
Don't put that blasphemy on. Don't put that blasphemy out there.
No.
I'm just saying, you did wire it, Dave, so I'm just saying. So
I
12-volt
put a
David.
couple of zip ties. I didn't wire it.
That'd be me. So, Mike,
Go ahead,
what's
Mike.
that? I was gonna
I
say
asked
you have your own shop. You have your own shop. Is that what you were saying before?
I build I got a shop called Midwest Images that's been open for 22 years.
Okay.
I build full-blown custom vehicles that it's been a blessing that I've been able to do it. Like, everything works, in my opinion, in your paths for a reason. And I hate doing insurance work. I'm 49 years old now. I started basically working at a buddy of mine's shop when it came to it. And, you work for $5 an hour, right? But I knew that I liked doing cars. So for me to learn, everything was self-taught. And after a while, people were just starting to bring me their vehicles, and I just kept doing them and doing them, doing that. When I opened up my own shop, I had work immediately, and I still have a ton of work in there now. So my goal is, within the next 2 years, I want to get down to Georgia, because they're my best friends. So I like that. The older I've gotten, I want to be around friends more than I want to be around money.
Tell them the green and black truck you're known for. It's the first truck with.
It's the very first. Here's what's okay. I got an 80 C10 that I built 15 years ago, and that's the reason why Mike and I are good friends. I built this truck 15 years ago, and it's a box style C10. Now, back then they weren't even, like, people didn't care. You could get them for $1,000, $500, and I put 22s and 24s on it with an LS. Now, when I did that, like, I remember calling Intro and saying I want 24s because we were debuting at SEMA, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Like, why?" And I said, "I want 24 by 12s. Can you do?" And he's like, "Yeah, but why?" Right? Because the biggest wheel at that time was 22s at SEMA. So I come rolling out with 24s and 22s, and then I had an LS in it, which I made all the mounts for it and everything that way. And people were just like, "What is this about?" And it was weird because back then nobody did it. Now it's the norm. Now the norm is 22s, 24 LSs in any kind of C10, right? So I built it back then, and then Mike and I became friends over that truck because he gave me the cover of a sport truck because he was running a sport truck. So I still have the truck. And now it has a roots blown blower in it that I drove. I was driving it to SEMA. It's been to SEMA 4 times. So I tried to drive it to SEMA, and I got all the way out to, like, Oklahoma City and took a corner too tight. And what I learned is there's split bearings on Ford 9-inches, and they have a single bearing with an O-ring. Well, mine actually, the wheel, since it's got an offset, and these people don't realize, when you carry that much of a load on the back, your wheel is actually moving like this, right? Like this instead of flat. So I went around a corner and it pulled it. And a lot of lowriders back then would actually pull the axle out, right? You would spin an axle. That's what you would hear, spin an axle. It would actually pull that axle out. Well, we pulled it apart at this gas station and it didn't. So I couldn't figure it out. We actually hauled it to SEMA. I drove it into SEMA, drove it out of SEMA. Then I had it taken to California and then flew home. And then it came back and I found out that the housing end actually cracked when it did. It was the first time I ever seen something split like that, but we fixed it. But it's been sitting. And Dave and Mike are very adamant because I love, like, I want to buy this, I want to build this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And they kind of were getting on me. They're like, "You need to get this truck back out." And I'm like, whatever. But a lot of people know the truck. So I said, fine. So I got it back in the shop, and I'm working on that between work. I want to get it back on the road because Mike's got a new place down there, a shop that we're going to start doing cruises. So I kind of like to take it to it. But at the same time, I'm building my van, trying to get it ready for Power Tour. And then, there's times that we got to figure out when we're going to get Dave's car into my shop so I can paint it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening this year, but my shop's been great. I'm just ready to kind of, retirement to me isn't about money as much. Like, if everything's paid, then why aren't I happy, right? Like, but if I live frugal, I'm the kind of guy that wants to live in a van. Like, I do. I don't care if I make $1 million. I want to live in something small on some property, right? Like
HHR King of St. Louis.
Dude, don't hate on that thing.
I love the HHR.
So it's just I kind of want to keep
tell the people at home about your van. You mentioned your van. Tell them about your van.
Okay, it's a 6740 Econoline van. people call it Scooby-Doo, but Scooby-Doo's was a Chevy, right? But I've already body dropped it like 6 inches. And then it's got like a 1512 on the back now. We're going to clip the front end. And then
What do you mean? Whose 1512s are these?
They were the ones that were on blast for me, as a matter of fact. When Mike had the back wheels built, he called Mike Curtis over at Curtis Speed and actually duplicated the Hella brands in a billet. Because the other ones were like square. Like people don't realize how bad them would shake you. So Curtis made him a pair, and then he got another pair. So he had 2 pair, and then the street tires were on this one, and he didn't like it no more hanging out.
Well,
So
the UPS guy destroyed the first pair.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, jeez.
Bad. Like run over him with a truck or something. And we had to actually get those straightened out. It was bad.
Oh, no.
So then I ended up, we were sitting there, and Mike has a lot of stuff, and Dave and I were sitting there one day, and he's like, get this out, and get that out, and do this, and do that. And we kind of were like, okay. And he's like, Cotten, take that home. Take this home. And he goes, I'm going to sell these. And I'm like, no, I'm buying them. So I put them on the van, and then I'm going to clip the front with an S10 clip, and Gandrin Chevrolet is helping me with a brand new LSX 376 that's going to go in it. And we're going to put that in it. And Magnuson's helping with one of them 2650s. So our goal is we're going to get the whole van running. We want to do this all before Power Tour. So I'm going to get it all running and driving, and I'm going to drive it down to Mike and Dave. And then we're going to spend whatever it takes, and we're going to put the Magnuson on there, and we'll be filming it the whole time so everybody will be able to see it. And we're hoping, 700 horse. Yeah, there's that tire tucking.
Nice.
We're hoping like 700 horse to, on this van. And then we're going to take it on Power Tour. But if we take it on drag week, Dave and I are going to do 2-day passes. So what we're going to do is, no matter what he's driving, what I'm driving, I want to take the van on drag week. And he's going to drive I'm going to drive my van first, and then he's going to get in the van. And we're going to have a competition between both of us so you can make the van go the fastest on drag week.
Which we all know what's going to happen there.
So you guys are competing in drag week. So is it still going to be Finn and Tony and Blasphemy, and then Cotten and Newbern in the van? No,
we got something cooking for drag week. We can't announce it right yet, but if it works out,
between us, nobody else is listening. Just between you and me, buddy.
No, buddy, we can't.
Sure.
I mean, because we've talked about it, it's going to be pretty insane. Like, it's really going to be insane. And I hope it works out, because this is going to be something that's really going to mess with a lot of people. Like, it's going to be really cool.
But you're bringing the van on drag week, not just to show. The van's going to run on drag week, correct?
Yeah. Our goal this year is I want to get it running and driving all patinaed for Power Tour, right? Do Power Tour with it. Me and Dave are going to do Power Tour together. So if you see us there, definitely find us there. We're going to do Power Tour. And then drag week, I want to do a drag week. We're going to put a cage in it. We're going to try to make it, see what it does and runs. And then I'd probably, if I have time, if we're not filming at that point, well, Dave said I could take it down to his house. But I'd like to paint it before drag week. And then after drag week, bring it back and then do the interior. I want to put a stove in it, sink in it, fridge in it, bed in it. And I want it to, I would love to have an 11-second camper van. So we want to get it all done. And I want to build a wing. The hot rod, like the Hot Wheels have that wing on the very back of the thing. Yeah. I want to build one of those. I want solar panels, right? So I want like 800 watts of solar in this thing. I want it stupid. Like, I want it to be something I could just drive, and then we're going to jump back in it and take it to SEMA, and then go to SEMA, and then afterwards camp in it. Like, I think it would just be a killer deal. That's my bucket list. That's my bucket list for the year as far as what I want to do with this van.
And did I hear something about you putting the Magnuson supercharger in on the Hot Rod Power Tour? Is that accurate? Or
our very first plan was Dave and I, because Dave is one of the only people, and I'll be honest, in my lifetime that I can actually work side by side with without killing. Like, it's the weirdest feeling, because you know what I mean? You got people that come and help you, just want to stare at them and like, get your fingers off my stuff, right? Dave is the only dude, like, he's in a super elite group that I can sit there and say, let's do this. And we respect each other so much that if I say, what do you think about this? He looks at it. He's not that guy that goes, no. I'm the guy that says, no. He's the guy that says, no, we can do it, right? And then we work it out, and we said, we're going to go on Power Tour with it. So let's just, because it's coming through St. Louis, and I live by St. Louis, why don't we just put the Magnuson on there, right? So we're like, bet. But we didn't know we was getting the 2650 hot rod kit, and that's that universal kit. So I called and told them what we were going to do, and they're like, "You're going to need more than 1 day." And everybody I've talked to says you're going to need more than 1 day. So
Okay.
came up with a plan that I'm just going to get it running and driving, and then drive it down to Atlanta, and we're going to.
We're going to have to dyno it and everything else, and it was just going to be very difficult to do, at Power Tour. So
it would have been super cool to do that on the Power Tour. That would have been really cool.
Yeah. We may still dyno it. I think they have a mobile dyno on Power Tour.
Yeah, they usually
do. Do that, do some burnouts, and we can act like fools, right, Mike? Right, Cotten?
Definitely burn.
In what car? In my car?
Yeah.
I know Jeff's been there a few times to Power Tour.
He's the
Love
voice
the
of Power Tour.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Fun.
Yeah. You know where it kicks off at, right?
Where are you starting?
Summit, Norwalk, Ohio.
So what's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that day?
Dollar ice cream. It's my favorite, and it all goes to charity. It's a pound of ice cream for it's a cone of ice cream as big as Cotton's head for $1.
It comes in a cup, right? It's a pound of ice cream for $1. So when we got there early. Immediately we're like, we need ice cream. So we just ate ice cream the whole day. It's healthy.
Oh yeah.
It really is.
I'd do that.
Norwalk, Ohio, and if you haven't been to the Summit racetrack over there, it's a beautiful facility, family owned, just gorgeous, and they're super nice people.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the? Did you guys see the crash yesterday in NASCAR? I didn't see it.
That was
I saw
bad.
the video.
That was bad.
Yeah.
It was not looking good.
Yeah.
You said it was stable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was terrible. And then a friend of mine or someone that I met, Kai Mickelson, he was trying to set a world record on Sunday in Wisconsin. And Joe Coddington, who happened to be there, is going to hopefully be on one of our podcasts coming up. But they're trying to set a world record on skis. It looks like a dragster with basically skis on it. They're trying to hit 249 miles an hour is the world record, and they're trying to hit it. And I think about 242, they spun it, rolled it, flipped it.
Oh,
guy
Lord.
came out alive. He's fine. He walked out and said, well, it looks like I'm not doing another run. But I think they'll be back. It's rocket-powered. It's a rocket-powered engine trying to hit 249. They'll probably do it next year, hopefully. But
so if you look at that wreck from the NASCAR race yesterday, if you look at it in slow motion, the car is so flimsy. Like after the car, it goes up on its side, another car hits it right in the A-pillar where he's sitting. And the car is so flimsy looking. Looks like the cage is just destroyed. I mean, I don't know how he lived, but that's crazy.
That's the reason why they have such high standards on cages, though. Like, I mean, there's a reason why every bar is placed a certain way. In the industry itself, when everybody says they can build a cage, a monkey could build a cage. But you got to make sure that you're right, and that's the best thing. That's what saved them was that cage.
100%,
for sure.
Yeah.
Probably one of the worst crashes they've seen in NASCAR. I'd say.
Didn't the car that hit him like at 190 or something like that, didn't it?
It was rolling.
Crazy.
And it was similar to the Earnhardt crash years ago, where he went fat and then straight, right into the wall, but then he went across the finish line on his roof.
But Earnhardt that was a little bit different. That was no Hans device, loose seat belts, stuff like that.
The Hans devices weren't required back then. That's right. And he had it. Intimidator always wore an open face helmet. Yeah.
And he had a seat belt too. He can turn around.
They restructured the walls too, right?
Yeah.
Remember, they changed the walls now. A lot more padded.
So I've seen a lot of. What are your guys' opinion on this? I didn't watch it live. I watched the videos afterwards, and I've seen a lot of comments about how, somebody nudged him. It's like, well, Newman came down and was blocking. So it's
190 miles an hour. Like, I mean, how do you, if you're riding 190 mile an hour in a 4-pack, 5-pack, it's good. You know what I'm saying? That's drift. That's all the air taken behind you. You going like this, it's going to look like a nudge. It's 190 mile an hour, people. This is 50 mile an hour. You kind of look in the highway and you're like, oh, okay, 190. You don't get to think that way.
at all.
I
Yeah.
don't think nobody knew.
The only thing I didn't agree with was after the race when he's still trapped in the car upside down. You know, the winners are there doing donuts and stuff. If that were me, I would have flew over there and just at least checked on him. Make sure he's
Right.
I don't think he
okay.
knew about it, dude.
I
don't think he knew.
That's possible.
He didn't
They
because
might
like
not know.
If he didn't know about it, that's the only excuse. Otherwise,
Right.
get out of the car and be a gentleman and go over there and check in on your buddy.
Okay, but
Right.
hold on. We're also talking how long is this oval? Like, let's be real about this. That's like what, a mile?
2.5 miles. 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, stepping all the way down there. When he did that stuff down there, he didn't know. I mean, as fast as they're going and he comes across the line, yeah,
He wrecked right at the finish
excited.
line. No, he wrecked right there at the finish line. He was literally upside down on top of the finish line.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
Pretty close.
like I said, he may not have knew, but
Yeah.
I know
My
that
guess
they
is he
showed
didn't.
afterwards that they were praying. They were praying all together at the end. They showed.
Yeah. Well, at least he's still here. That's great.
yep.
But
And hopefully he'll still be racing.
I had met an IndyCar driver, and he died a month later in a crash at Indy. So driver for and I wished him luck. So I don't wish anyone luck anymore. Just so you know, that's one of the reasons.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I don't wish. No, you won't hear it from me. So
I remember years ago, my first time ever at the Long Beach Grand Prix, I talked my way into Mario Andretti's car, and I got into it up to my hips, and I couldn't squeeze down into the cockpit because I'm too big. It was pathetic.
I love that Grand Prix racing. That Grand Prix racing is pretty dope. You ever seen it when they go downtown, like when they're in towns and they do it?
Like Monaco Grand Prix? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I lived in Des Moines, and they had this thing called the Rouen Grand Prix, right? And I was like, Grand Prix, what's that? And I was working for Super Shops. So they shut the whole downtown, and they were doing these. It was wicked. Because, when they're coming around corners, I'm like, this is awesome, right?
Echoing off high-rise buildings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Oh, it's amazing.
Downtown and racing that way, and it was the coolest thing I ever seen. So I was like, cool, I want to do this. And I realized I'm not Sleveth enough. I think I'm actually too tall at 5'7" to get in them little cars. So
I got to get you out to the Long Beach Grand Prix because they do that every April out here. They shut down downtown Long Beach, and if you get down there like early in the morning, I used to take my Corvette around part of the track. They had it closed off. It's super cool.
Yeah, they were talking about doing something like that here in Minneapolis, but that's just at least talk right now. But that'd be kind of cool to see that here.
Heck yeah.
So.
I like up there where you're at. I like Minneapolis. When I was up in Des Moines, Minneapolis got a good car culture there. Like, it seems like back then it was like, to me it was kind of like a time warp, because everything down here down in St. Louis was one thing, but as soon as I got up to Des Moines, everybody up north was like, it seemed like 2 or 3 years behind, like, when you're like your style wise. But I mean, that's not bad. That is not a bad deal. Like, but it was just so cool because it was such a huge. You'd go to a car event up there and it'd be packed. And you're like, wow, and people spend money on cars up there, not like in Georgia.
Yeah, you
That's how I
gotta go
felt
back
at Lake Havasu.
Yeah, back to the 50s is 11,000, 12,000 cars. They have that every year, and it's 64 and older, so it's not not like Des Moines where they have the good guys show and they have newer cars than 64 there. So it's a lot.
They got 70. What is it? No, 87 now, right?
84.
Yeah.
No, 87. You're right.
Yeah. So if we allowed all those cars into the show, we'd probably have 20,000 cars or more. But they have to, cut it down at 64. So.
Now, see, for the good guys, I like how the good guys change it because I do the autocross announcing, and now they can bring out like Chris and Linda Jacobs have a 87 Callaway Corvette that they bring out to autocross. You can see some of the kind of newer cars out there.
Yeah.
Love that.
I mean, it's voted #1 car show 2 out of the last 3 years by USA Today. So it's
back to the 50s.
In a good spot. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why Kendig's been there like the last 4 years probably. Several builders, Troy Tapanier I think has been here. Martin Brothers. So all these guys come up here to check out the show. So
Damn.
it's pretty.
Cotton,
It's a good one.
We need to go there.
Yeah, it's June 19th through the 21st, I think, this year. So
Nope.
I will be there. You guys will be
We'll be
busy.
Power Tour, yeah.
Power
So,
Tour,
yeah.
the same.
We talked about
Okay.
Cotton's van and whatnot. And David, I know you've got I don't know, it's the Dirk Diggler Corvette, or what kind of projects you've got in your garage, in your shop.
The Dirk Diggler Corvette is not mine. It's a friend of mine's, but that thing had been sitting for 30 years, and I recently got it fired up, and it runs like a brand new car, which is crazy. So it's I gotta bleed the brakes, and that thing's out of my shop. It's been in my shop for 2 years, but yeah.
Oh yeah, get it out of there. So
Yeah.
that's it. It's
What year?
just in to get running. Yeah, it's a 74.
74?
75.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
Second
they
year
call
of the
it-
no
they call it
bumpers.
flame. They call it flame red, but it's orange as hell. So
Yeah.
Weird.
It's almost
All right.
done though, isn't it?
Huh?
You got it almost done though.
Yeah, it's one of the calipers is leaking. I got to bleed the brakes, and it's out of my hair. So
Yeah.
So by
you
the
got,
so the end of this week, we'll see
you got a shop
a
too, then?
video with
Yeah.
Game Over.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we can fire it up.
All right, and there'll be a video you'll post online.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh,
Everybody's giving us
We'll
hell.
be sharing it.
Been building it for what, 4 years, and they're like,
At
"It's never
least."
gonna be finished." So it's like, yes, it's there. It's here. It's going to be ready. So
All right, and speaking of online, Instagram, you're David Newbern.
yep.
Instagram, your Midwest Images, not Mike Cotten, Midwest Images.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You should change that to your name because people have a hard time finding you.
That's okay.
Well, if he's
And
it's
busy,
hot.
it probably is.
And it's Cotton with an EN, not an ON.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am it. I don't pick it. Yes.
Where are you out of, Dave?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta? Okay. You got a shop obviously down there, or
It's
is
like
it home?
just a personal shop. You know, I don't work
Okay,
on custom
okay.
cars, so
Okay.
I'd hate to do that.
No, it's a personal shop that stores Finnegan stuff forever, and he works on Finnegan stuff.
Oh, there you
Basically.
go. There you go.
Yeah, it's more
Okay.
stores than anything.
Yeah. Well, I'll remember who to contact if I need to store something.
Yeah, I got 5 acres too, so if it can sit outside, I got room for days.
Mental note.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, are you guys gonna be at SEMA? We go every year. I'm trying to go every year now. Been there 3 years in a row now. You guys?
I don't know
will
what
be
I'm doing next week. So
Okay.
Cotton's driving his van to SEMA.
Yeah, our long
Yeah.
term is
Yeah.
going to drive the van to SEMA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the 11
Cotton's
second
gonna be
camper
there.
van.
yeah,
Look, here's the thing. It all depends. Like if they walk up like they did to us last year, and throw all the schedule at us at that time, well, then we got a ton of stuff that we got to do before then. You know, because like we did SEMA this year. We went and raced the weekend before with Blasphemy because Blasphemy was going to go, and we ended up racing. What's his name?
Jared Scott.
Jared Scott. And we had a fun time doing that, and then we went to the show. But we got flown in to do all that kind of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
hard to say. If we're filming, who knows what we're going to do.
Right.
But right now, we just got to enjoy Hershey bars. And
I mean, I'd love
Snicker
to. I'd love to go. I'd love to go to SEMA, PRI.
Yeah.
All those events are awesome. So it just depends on
Right.
schedule.
And you guys don't know
Yeah.
you don't know if you're picked up for season 2. You don't know your schedule for next week. So
Exactly.
well, yeah, because I'd love to see you guys at the C10 Nationals. But once you know your schedule, we'll get that all figured out, and hopefully we'll see you out there.
Right? It's
Yeah.
day by day.
It is literally day by day. We don't know. It's gotten really great reviews, and that comes from the people that have supported us, which we are thankful for all the time. So it's just up to the higher ups now, you know, what they want to do, and yeah, that's the way we feel about it. Ain't
Well,
that
I've
right,
seen
Dave?
nothing but
All right,
positive. I haven't seen any of the hater messages, but I've seen nothing but positive remarks from you guys. So congratulations
Yeah,
on the
Yeah.
success.
There's not many.
The haters
Yeah, I
There's
was
not
gonna
many
say.
haters.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Dave.
on the show. So that's good. Well, if there is haters, they usually bring more people to the show because they're going to see why they hate you, and then they're going to come and check it out, and then they'll say, what the hell is this guy's problem? Because I think that's cool, and that happens a lot, I think. So, Mike Brewer, if you guys know Mike Brewer from Wheeler Dealers, he gets so much hate, and I think he's had the best ratings. It's like his ratings keep going up, and all these people are like, why isn't Ed China on the show? And more people tune in then. So he's got more people watching the show than ever. So you can't, it's not a bad thing sometimes.
Deal, I tell you what, shooting with my two best friends makes life easy. Like, because we didn't have to worry about script. We didn't have to worry about any actions were wrong or malice.
But it definitely makes filming the show easier. I mean, there's no, because we're just being normal. Like, we don't have to pretend to like the guy we're working next to. We don't, and then like after the cameras are off, we're still doing the exact same thing. We don't change. Like when we leave, we're still going to get ice cream. We're still cutting up. We're still acting retarded. We're still doing all these things that, we do on camera. So it's
a perfect example. Like, we get done doing stuff, and I think when Mike's around us, we're all like little kids. Like, literally, seriously, we're like 16-year-olds all over again. And I'm old, so I'm telling you. So, after that, okay. You remember the vet card episode? And at the end of the vet card episode, us three are standing, and and Forsberg does a donut around us. You don't see the 20 minutes prior to that for setup that we have so much clay in our shoes that we're stomping on each other's feet, messing up each other's shoes, kicking dirt and all this stuff like little kids. We were just sitting out there just throwing mud and kicking each other. We were having a blast. Like, Dave had brand new shoes, and the Mike goes, "Those are new shoes?" He goes, "Yeah." Steps right on them, digs mud all across the whole thing, right? And then we're start kicking the mud. Or they don't see, like, at the end of the the Jeep thing, I'm sitting in there, right? And I'm not getting out because it's muddy. And all of a sudden I look over, and as soon as I look over, Mike throws a mud clod at me, this big old, and I block it. So now I get out, and I'm chasing him. He literally runs down the whole path. He's running as far as he can because he knows I'm about ready to mess him up.
Yeah.
Like, I got mud. We're getting ready to fight. Like, we're like, let's just dogpile on each other. Let's just be stupid. Like, they don't see the kind of stuff that we just do all the time. Like,
I've never seen Finnegan run that fast in my life while jumping over mud puddles, not slipping and falling. I don't know how he done it, but he was screaming because Mike was chasing him with a damn mud ball.
It was funny, but we have,
you guys would probably catch me.
Well, it was just, he started walking, so that's why I could save my breath. But it was an experience that I hope we can continue. I'm happy, like I say, we say it all the time, thanks for the fans, but I'm happy that everybody tuned in and watched our experience, because that's as genuine as we're going to get. If you ever watched Finnegan's Garage, it's the same thing. We go through, and it's just got more editing on the other one. I mean, Dave made a point the other day. I was like, man, I wish they could edit these things faster, right? Like, that's what people don't get. They got so much footage, and Dave's like, do you realize how much footage they have of us? Like, they got to really come through and get it synced right. And I'm like, he's absolutely right. Like, it ain't something that we could just edit in 10 seconds. There's so much stuff that goes down that we have so much fun doing it.
Yeah, 3 cameras now.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 cameras and about 7 or 8 GoPros go at it. And we're all mic'd up for hours. Like, they literally keep your mic on all the time. And we're like, okay.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good for you guys. I'm happy for you. Looking forward to season 2.
Yeah, I hope to look for that too. All right. I think we could wrap it up. Thanks for joining. It's been fun
for having
listening to all the stories. Yeah, and me and Jeff are going to have fun with this.
Blue Steel. So, I met, how many years ago did I meet you, Jeff? How many years? Let's think about that. When was your show on? When was your show on?
Was it 6 or 8 years ago? Something like it was before that. Before the show even aired, we were in SEMA with my Billy D, who got me on the show. Billy D had business cards, and I had just gotten new business cards. And I put my picture on them, and Billy's passing out his business cards, and we come across it. Lou Santiago's there. Cotton's there. Who else? You and Lou. Who else? Mike. That's it. Larry. So everybody's passing around cards. I get out my business card, and I pass it, and Lou looks at it, looks at me, looks at it, looks at me. You're Blue Steel. It's like,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Blue Steel the whole time. Like we kept screaming every time he'd walk by. I'd be like, Blue Steel. He'd get all mad.
Hey guys.
But it's been a long
Well, I'll have to
time.
remember that.
Yeah. Thanks, Cotton. I appreciate that. That's right. Yeah. Hashtag Blue Steel. Hashtag 12-volt David.
That's right.
Yeah. Hashtag it all tastes like chicken.
Well, yeah, it all tastes like chicken.
I don't even know what that's all about, but
Okay.
I know
neither
you've
do
been
we.
posting that.
See, neither do you. Yeah.
Probably like since I was like 17, I've been saying it all tastes like chicken. So on the show, what's funny is Dave and I would get in these little like goofiness that he'd be like, it all tastes like chicken. And I would say, hell yeah, because that's what he does is, hell yeah. So he'll say it all tastes like chicken. But they haven't put it all in there. Like we just start doing it, you know. But his 12-volt name, I mean, you know, it was funny that it came up. Like we joke about it. We call him 12-volt, like me and Mike do. And then as soon as it got on TV, everybody calls him 12-volt, you know.
We go to Tucson, and the announcer is like, Mike Cotten and 12-volt Dave. I'm like, what?
Love it. Own it. Love it. Embrace it. Use it.
Yeah.
Oh, he kept saying at that point after that, we just sit there. That's what was hitting us because we're like, you hear, Cotten and 12-volts are here. And I'm like, is he talking about us? Like, why does he keep talking about us? Shut up. Don't keep bringing us up. We just want to walk around. But that's when you realize where you're at now. You know, it was neat.
See, now you need
from
your
that point
Midwest
forward,
images.
I signed 12-volt Dave on everything.
See, you need Midwest images, hashtag it all tastes like chicken t-shirts, and you get your David Newbern, hashtag 12-volt David on your t-shirts.
Yeah, it's coming. I have one in the works.
All right, good. Good.
I'm supposed to. My buddy's trying to get everyone to call me Car Show Mike, you know, because I advertise car shows around the United States. So he's like, you should go by Car Show Mike. I'm like, yeah,
hey,
whatever.
Like Stuntman Mike and Death Proof. Car Show Mike. I love it.
Yeah.
So
get a tattoo.
Maybe I'll take that one. That'd go over well with. Yeah.
Get a tattoo on your arm. That'd be great.
Not on his arm, across your chest. Car Show Mike.
No one would ever see that. No
I'm
one
thinking
would ever
about
see
getting
that.
mayhem across my stomach. Mayhem?
You do not have mayhem across the stomach.
Well, I'm thinking about getting it.
No, don't. You need to shave
Do
it.
it.
You need to do it.
I do need to shave. I'm trying. I wanted to make Newbern feel more at home.
Oh, thank you. I actually shaved before I got on here.
You did? I'm going to go shave right now. I got to get this all cut off, too.
No, I'm jealous of that. Keep that.
Oh, it's horrible. No, don't keep that. It's horrible.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Great, I'm
you got
jealous.
some hair going on there.
Yeah. It's horrible.
That's that
All right.
Deal.
Well, I'm going to shut off the recording. Thank you guys for joining.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
It was a
you.
blast.